So welcome back to Sportsbet, and it's time for Big Game Breakdown. Teddy and Paulie, we've got no Paulie today. That means Drew Martin pinch hitting off the bench, and he's been killing it so far. Drew, let's start with the Super Bowl rematch, the game that everyone's been talking about all summer, and it's time to break it down right here, right now. Carolina Panthers, road favorites at Denver, -3, -120 or even higher juice in some places. Total 41.5. We go back to the Super Bowl. Remember, 24-10. All Denver, all day. Carolina went off in the 5.5-point chalk range in that ball game. But you go back and look at that box score. Broncos, 11 first downs, 1 of 14 on third downs, a total of 194 net yards, only 3.5 yards per play. They couldn't run, they couldn't throw. How'd they win the game?
Ah, man, Teddy, I got to step in here for Paulie like a 1996 Trevor Hoffman changeup. And I'll tell you, the reason, in the box score, it's right here. Fumbles and lost fumbles. 4 fumbles, 3 lost fumbles. The turnovers, man, it was huge. And going to Thursday night, I'll tell you, you got Cam Newton versus Trevor Siemian. Trevor Siemian, smart dude, Northwestern guy, Big Ten guy like yourself. But as far as an athlete and the returning MVP, I'll take Cam Newton on Thursday night.
Newton's chance to cap off a historic NFL season. That team went 15-1 in the regular season. They dominated their first 2 postseason games. They were on pace, had they won the Super Bowl, to be thought of as one of the elite NFL teams of all time. Didn't happen. Newton's chance to cap off that season ended with a thud. Look at that picture right there. He was hit 13 times in that ball game. And when you read the quotes, the Panthers believe they made very poor adjustments against the Denver blitzes. Philly Brown talking about how Carolina's not going to make the same mistakes twice. Quote, they've got great pass rushers. They had a great game plan, and we weren't at our best that day, and we know that. We've watched the film over and over again, and we realize the little mistakes that we made, the game that need fixed, that need to be fixed to get the victory. The tight end, Ed Dixon, quote, we were very critical of ourselves watching tape and what we have to do better. We did a lot of great things, but there were a lot of things that were uncharacteristic of us. So, Denver didn't get any offense in the Super Bowl. Carolina made a ton of mistakes. Now the Broncos go with an untested, he's not a rookie, but he's a rookie, Trevor Siemian, 7-7 as a starter at Northwestern. Can Carolina get some sense of revenge in this game? And if they do, does that revenge come by margin? Or are we talking about a game that's going to be tight right through the end?
Well, Teddy, it could go obviously one of a couple different ways. But I like this kid, Trevor Siemian. He can spin it, but at the same time, I think he's going to have a tough time against this Panthers defense. So if you're asking my opinion, what I'm betting, it's Panthers or pass for me, Teddy.
I'm with you 100%. Now remember, Broncos, 11 first downs and 194 yards. Their defense can do it again. That's not asking much from Trevor Siemian. But the quotes from Gary Kubiak, quote, we have to give him freedom. We have to let him play. Obviously, you're talking about a Hall of Famer and Peyton Manning, who retired. That package may be a little bigger, but Trevor's a smart kid. That's one of the reasons he's got himself in this position, because he's able to handle a lot. I really like the way he works. He can carry a lot of information in a short period of time. Let me explain. He can go into that meeting room for 2 hours in the morning, walk out of here at 11:30, and take it to the field. You can't teach that. Fascinating matchup on Thursday night, and a very rare point spread. We don't often see the defending Super Bowl champs as home dogs in their Thursday night opener. All right, let's talk Friday night. Louisville, Syracuse. Louisville -14.5 on the road. We've seen some over money getting this total up to 68. And boy, Lamar Jackson is so good. Look at this photo. It looks like he's toying with defenses. Jackson with a pretty impressive performance last week. What he did, 286 yards and 6 touchdown passes and 119 yards on the ground and 2 touchdowns. Oh, that was by halftime. Lamar Jackson, he's in pretty good form right now. Can he run circles around the Syracuse defense?
Yeah, I absolutely think he can. Granted, the first game was against Charlotte, But Syracuse defense, I guess it's yet to be seen how they're going to perform. And also on the other end, Teddy, I know that you know a little bit about Dino Babers, and he didn't like the way that his offense was running in game number 1 against Colgate. And I think he used the phrase paint drying, and his offense needs to get going a little bit faster. And he said they will be going a lot faster in the Carrier Dome on Friday night. And I'll tell you one other thing breaking down this game. They went up against Colgate, and all FCS teams aren't created equal. Colgate was a FCS playoff team last year. I think they actually made it to the quarterfinals. So being able to put up 33 points against them, and their offense not running at the high tempo that Dino Babers wants, I think that they'll be able to really push it against this Louisville defense. Not necessarily carve them up, but I see Syracuse getting into the end zone a couple times on Friday night.
Well, let me just get back to Lamar Jackson for 1 second, because you talk about in the opener against Charlotte, those monster numbers he put up. It's worth noting that he ran and passed for over 200 yards each. He scored 2 touchdowns, and he threw 2 touchdowns in that bowl win over Texas A&M last January. Now, you talked about Dino Babers and the pace that Syracuse is looking to play. Quote, "We have a dome. The snow doesn't matter. The rain doesn't matter. The wind doesn't matter. I can guarantee them every college football game at home they'll play in perfect weather." Babers, he wants to play as fast as any team in the country, and he's got a chance, of course, to spotlight the program in the Carrier Dome at home on national TV. So it's kind of a rare situation where a team that's a 14.5-point underdog wants to speed up the pace against an opponent that is pretty comfortable playing fast.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dino Babers is one of he's a unique dude in that he would want to do that. A lot of 2-touchdown underdogs are going to want to just kind of sit on the clock, milk this out, maybe squeak one out in the fourth quarter. Not Dino Babers, Teddy.
Yeah, I mean, Babers, he coached Jimmy Garoppolo at Eastern Illinois. He was an assistant at Baylor. He was the head man at Bowling Green. In each of those instances, he was looking, it's all about speed. And in theory, they might be better off losing this game 45-28 than 17-14 because it's about recruiting right now. Syracuse did go 4-0 as a home dog last year. Obviously, that was a different coach. But if you watch the game film from last year, there were some significant defensive concerns for Syracuse. Louisville won 41-17. They rolled up 579 yards. And oh, by the way, Jackson was injured and didn't play in that ball game. That's what we got. Drew, great stuff. When we come back, it is deep dive time. The top 10 differences between pros and Joes. A fun Wednesday edition of Sports.
Research before you bet. Be sure to check out SPR Picks for the best game predictions, breakdowns, and much, much more.